faith to kind of get her back into the mentality to come into this game and have a clean sheet?
There wasn't one. The kid is so confident. She's so, I think, comfortable with the opportunity that's in front of her, but also the challenge, to be the first team keeper. She played really well last week. The goals were not on her. I think she felt like she could have saved the breakaway, but after that, we just let her down. So she had a great week, or a great couple of days, I should say, and was ready to go. I feel like if you dwell on that too much, you're making too much of something that shouldn't have fallen on her. So.
What went into starting Alana tonight?
Well, we're just looking for the right partner with Ashley. And whoever that partner is has got to be able to get behind people. They got to be pacey enough to get there. And it just made sense, I think, to let Alana try to be that person. Story's done it. Now Alana's done it. Alana scored, so that's great for her and her first college goal. So we're excited for that.
What were some of the things that you took from the game against Penn State into tonight, whether that was offensively, defensively, some changes that y'all ended up making? What are some of the things that y'all kind of did in between the games that you saw tonight that ended up being the difference in the games?
Well, I think going into the game, we probably figured we would have the upper hand. We've been doing this a while. Gina just took that program over. She's going to do a great job. They're already believing, they're organized, they're in the right places. But we thought we might have, we'd be on the front foot. So we just implored our team, like, look, the intensity, the focus, the ability to hold on to the ball under pressure, the heading, the tackling, the scrapping, like all the intangibles, the little things, we didn't do any of them in the last game. And they took advantage of us because of that. Being a little bit shorthanded with certain key players out, you can't step off the gas. A team like Penn State's going to roll you. And we're like, that's just going to keep happening if we don't get after it here. We got to claim our start of the season. We got to get a victory. We got to be back to 500 and then start getting well ahead of it. So I think we're trying to remind them all of the small details, the intangibles that make a team really good. Now, we weren't great tonight, but we were certainly good enough to win 4-0, so we were happy with that.
And then building off of that, y'all were able to come out and get on top early, scoring early in the first half as well in the second half. What were some of the things that you saw that kind of led to that outcome?
I think our press, we came out of the locker room committed to press and turn them over high up the field. When we did that, they were a little bit out of sorts as we went at them. And, we missed the usual chances early on that you might get. And if we don't capitalize on them and they sit back a little bit, the game could have got dicey. But once we scored the first goal, then, the game opened up a little and we were happy that we were able to push it to 4.
Was there anything you said to Taylor before she came on in the second half and had that great half?
No, I wish I could claim magic dust, but Taylor's just been coming. It's Taylor led. That's the deal. She knows she's coming. She knows she's playing better. She was actually one of our bright spots against Penn State. She beat their number 4 down the wing and got a couple balls across. I mean, we might have scored off of her cross late in the second half. And if we just scored the penalty, then it'd have been 4-2. We wouldn't have felt so bad about it. So we knew Z was feeling pretty good. Ashley's obviously been our leading scorer. She's going to start, but Z is really pushing. And her first goal was great, but the second one was vintage Z. Like, she scores corner kicks. She's great in the air. We were all chanting her name as the corner kick came in. And it's amazing that we have Peyton Parsons and Macy Blackburn that can drop a ball wherever the forwards want it on corner kicks. And so Peyton played the perfect ball, and Z just rose up over everybody and scored. We were so happy for her.
I know you've been involved with a lot of opening day games, but how was it for your girls to get to play in front of the team again, or in front of the audience again?
First of all, I think it's amazing without students here, the crowd we had. The community came, kids came. I mean, this is not traditionally a super well-attended game, but I think there's carryover from last year. People want to see their favorite players play. They want to see a look at our freshmen. So we were thrilled that many people were here, and it was just great to be home. It's great to come out of your own locker room. It's great to have that feeling again. And we hadn't lost in a long time. It's over a year. How many months was it? Like 16 months? 2 years almost? So losing sucked. I mean, it felt terrible. And even though we could have easily said, well, it's bound to happen, we didn't. And so getting here, getting back into a routine at home, I think that was all part of the formula that we really needed. And now we know there's really good teams ahead of us next weekend, and then Utah State on the road will be very tough. So it doesn't get easier, but we're glad that we took care of this one.
What did you see out of your team in a physicality standpoint? Obviously, you guys won a lot of those headers in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, we were just first to the ball, and that's so rudimentary, but when you step off of that, you're not going to be on the ball. The other team's going to have possession. So we were first to the ball. We were committed to winning headers. I challenged all the freshmen last week, like, you guys have got to be better in the air. And then Kendall Jones was a beast when she came up. Jamie Elias won a big header too, and Jules won a header. So a lot of our freshmen responded to that. And the whole team, Molly Krasinski won a ton of headers. She didn't even like to head it, but she's willing to do it because she's a team first kind of girl.
You keep talking about all these freshmen. Can you elaborate on the depth of this team and how valuable that is going into having these injuries and then going into the later season?
I think we're going to have to see. Because right now, we're up, they come on, they're free, they're happy, everyone's cheering for them. That's a great introduction to college soccer. But if we have to lean on some of that depth in a real big game or away at Oklahoma State or somewhere, then we'll see. But I think that this is their prep time, and they're doing really well to get ready for those moments if they come their way.
How do you keep this team grounded? Obviously, a 4-0 win means a lot,
Yeah.
but you want to keep that streak going.
Yeah, I don't think it's tough to keep them grounded. Thursday's not that far behind us. We won't forget that night and how we were really not at our best and we got punished for it. So we might have to reflect back on that every now and then to keep us where we need to be.
So you think that game will be like a motivation point throughout the season?
Well, I think it's just a bruise. It's not going to go away. I mean, it doesn't feel good when you don't play well in a big time game. And we usually respond to those moments so well that was just an overall disappointment. It's one thing to be a hangover where you can't then move on, press on, but it's another thing to kind of go, well, don't forget, you start to think you're good, this is what can happen anytime. So we know we're good, but we don't think we're that great yet. We need to keep building. This team is more of a work in progress at this time of the year than we were last year. We got a lot more growth ahead of us.
Are there any girls in specific that after that Penn State game kind of helped keep this team ready to go for the next game and on and out throughout the season? You said it's a bruise. Who are those girls that are kind of that Band-Aid to cover it up a little bit?
I think it's more just the rocks, the ones that are just like game in and game out. They bring the heat, crunch. I'll tell you what, Chloe, just a sophomore, comes off the bench. She's a big, humongous fighter. Molly really responded today. I thought Z, Ashley, and Lana, and all those guys really responded. Bud responded. So it was a pretty big group that just played harder, played better. Again, we thought we would have the edge on this opponent, and thankfully that it went our way so we could feel good about the result.
Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So you were able to bounce back, y'all were able to bounce back from the Penn State game with 4-0 win tonight. How good does that feel to not only get the home win, but get it in such a, I guess, determining factor?
Yeah, it feels really good. We made a lot of adjustments in our walkthrough, and obviously it was a disappointing game at Penn State, but we had to learn from it and change some things tonight, and we just had a way better press from forwards to defenders. Everything was good, so it felt really good.
Alana and Taylor, obviously you guys both get that first goal. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, it was really fun. A big team effort tonight. A lot of girls got a lot of minutes, and like Cassie said, we really had to respond after a trip to Penn State. So it was good to finally get some goals in the back of the net from different faces as well.
Yeah, it's my second career goal, but it was awesome. I mean, the ball was played on a silver platter. I just had to get something on it.
Was there anything specific that Tom said, like going in between those two games, that you needed to improve on, or that you needed to keep going the same? What was the conversation like?
There was a big conversation about effort, just making sure that we have the right mentality to perform and setting up our pregame and walkthrough to make sure we're ready. And so our prep for this game was way better, and we focused on that, and that was a big thing for this game that made us so successful.
Yeah, and having just a winning mentality, going out there and just having that drive to win and compete. We showed up today, and the minute you walked in the locker room, you could tell we were going to win this game. The atmosphere was awesome. All of the girls were hyped. The energy today was really good.
I guess feeding on that, what was it like to get back into this stadium with a crowd out there? Now that you guys have those season ticket holders, does that make a difference to know these people are committing to you guys as well?
Yeah, there's nothing like winning at home. I mean, the community here is so supportive, and we appreciate all the people coming to all our games. And it makes such a difference. The fans really help us and encourage us and just drive us to perform for them.
Cassie, being on that back line, did you have a conversation with Faith after the game against Penn State? Obviously, it was a little hard to let up 4 goals, but then she comes into this one and has a clean sheet. Was there a conversation you guys had or anything?
Yeah, there was a conversation. We just talked about that obviously mistakes are going to happen, but she has my back and I have her back, and we just need to stay strong and keep that bond growing.
Time for maybe one more.
Peyton, y'all were able to jump out early, both in the first half and the second half, scoring very quickly. What do you think was some of the reasons that led to that? And was there any adjustments before the game or at halftime that kind of led to being able to get on the board early in both the first and second half?
Yeah, I think, again, coming from our last game, we were eager to get on and score. Coming from a 0-4 loss to a 4-0 win is just awesome. And that, again, like the energy, we came out and in the huddle, we talked about pregame coming out and scoring in the first 5 minutes, and we scored really quickly, and we just possessed and got comfortable, and so after that it just kept coming and the energy kept building. At halftime, again, we talked about 2-0 lead isn't exactly what we want more, and we're hungry, so we knew that when we came back out, we also wanted another goal in the first 5 of the second half, so getting that was pretty awesome by this girl right here.
Anything else, guys?
That's it.
All right. Thanks, ladies.